And welcome back. This is an acceptable hand, I'll say that. If he starts off first turn Delver, we could definitely be in a bit of trouble. We'll end up going straight for Stoneforge Jit as opposed to Stoneforge Batterskull. And he'll burn that out, and then we'll try and jam a Knight. We don't want to actually fetch the basic forest. We'll end up getting the scrubland and the swamp. That way we only have one forest when we play the Knight. And if he doesn't play the Delver, we'll drop this Wasteland and waste him out. I mean, if he doesn't have a creature, we aren't really too worried about him. So we're going to keep this hand. It's a little bit slower. It's a little bit more dangerous, but let's live on the wild side. Typically against them, you want a hand that's got the ability to interact a little bit better than what's averagely seen. When I say that, I mean like you want a hand that's got one of the 4 dismember or 4 swords of singleton dismember, so one of the 5 pieces of removal. You want basically a hand that can interact with him in a way that he doesn't like, and that's just how it is. Let's bring that card thing back up here, and let's make sure that we didn't disconnect. I mean, it's a bit early. Okay, there we go. There's our opponent. If he doesn't fetch, okay, here is a important game to learn how to play. It is called the Stifle game, and the way the Stifle game works is that you actually play your fetch land and you don't crack it. When they crack their fetch land, you crack yours. Unfortunately, we drew the Mox Diamond, so we're kind of going to jam out that and see where that goes. If he plays, we're going to play this first, because if we can get a Spell Pierce or a counter spell out of it, that's great. He'll have a non-basic, we'll waste his land, and he'll be behind. As far as what we're going to be getting rid of, I'm going to be getting rid of this land. We're still going to play that game. We're just going to do it with a top instead. By the way, I was supposed to play the top and then play the wasteland. Like, if we can get him to Spell Pierce, that would have been great. Alright, so still playing the game. There's a Sylvan library. But we're still playing the game. We are now getting more value off of this than he is. When he cracks one, we crack one. If he cracks the other one, we crack the other one. We're still getting the same 2 lands. Alright, so he's got a third one. We're going to let him make a play. And we'll just look with our top. Into a Ponder. Would have been better as a Brainstorm. Like, there's a severely high chance that he still has his Stifles in, and that's fine. Next turn, we'll probably jam the Mystic and go from there. I don't think he has 2 Stifles. Typically, they don't. And even if he does, I don't think that we're going to be too worried about it. We've got enough bait in our hand to make sure that that Knight resolves. And once it's resolved, we're just going to keep him off of the green mana. We'll have enough lands in the yard to keep our Knight alive and whatnot. So, alright. There's a Bayou. Not exactly a land that I want. But let's see. We're only going to have 3 lands to play with next turn, if I'm right. So Bayou can go second. I'll keep the Pulse on top. We're gonna actually jam this Stoneforge Mystic next turn. So let's keep the removal. Alright, here we go, jamming the shuffle effect. Days. Alright, there's the first one. So there's our first one. There's his second one. There's our second one. So there's the swamp. Now his goes. He stifles that one. Yep, as expected. And he'll probably spell snare this one, which, not favorable, but it's fine. We'll then have the ability to look, get another land. We can't play Knight at this point. We can still play Pulse and Library. There's the snare. He probably thinks that he's safe to land a creature, which is fine. I mean, think all you want of that. Ooh, Wasteland. There's a Wasteland of our own. So, I'm going to keep it like this. We're going to plop the library down. Just keep him doing things. And during his up... No, we'll keep this. Yeah, we'll keep it. The goose is loose. There's this taiga. Really want both of those. Oh wait, I have a library. That was stupid. We're going to always yield to that, save a little bit of time. And I'd like Thalia. The Jit, I'm not so worried about. It's nice to have it. It's nice for it to be there. Alright, so Thalia resolves. He does have a 3/3. He's got exactly 7 cards, so maybe next turn. No, he'll probably just burn the Thalia here. When he goes for it, we will I figured he'd burn the Thalia. We're not blocking. So we'll lose the life. Stifle me. I know you have it. There it goes. Alright. Let's take a look. Which is, I don't know why I keep on looking. For some strange reason I seem to think that that's going to change something. Alright. So if we change anything, it'll be next turn. But for right now, we're just going to plop the knight into play. We got enough lands in the graveyard that it'll actually be remotely useful, I'll say. Start with... No. We'll get in there first. Old school rules of Magic. Play your spells. I must have had that Mazeth. So that one, and this one. Alright, so we've got a large knight. He's 1 mana off from being able to do that. I'm going to go ahead and take away a green source. Next turn, we'll find out. There's a Goyf. Land? No land. That's alright. We can still green sun for 0. Or we can green sun for the bird. Or we can just play the Jit. Let's see, we have 2 types in our yard. I think we're just going to play the Jit here. So, those 2 cards can go back. Like, we'll take the damage from this. Once Jit's in play and on Thalia, that's going to cost... Oh, there's the days. Okay, so there's his days. Extra type for Goyf. Still can't really swing. No shuffle effect. But he's brainstorming, so we're not getting bolted. And we could take his yard out at any point. So... Another goose. You know, it's we can't do it. We don't have forest or plains. What am I thinking? Let's go get a forest or plains. So there's our forest or plains. So let's see. Next turn we can pulse the Goyf. And we should be able to keep track of the ooze. Yeah. We should be okay here. 2 of the stifles are in there, I believe. 1, 2. Yeah. Well, let's see if he actually knows what he's doing. First strike damage on. Are you dead? I think you just died. You need the other stifle. That came back to me. So yeah, game over. No need to top, we have library. There's a batter skull and a Goyf. I'm going to keep the Goyf. And I'm actually going to pop this to draw a card. That way I have a land drop. I can't imagine that our opponent is happy at all right now. Alright, so yeah, that's the rug matchup. This game is over. Not to call it early, just yeah, that was it. That matchup is perfectly fine. He screwed up game 1. We should have had a game 3 there, but that's on him. You can't count on your opponent always doing that, but the matchup is typically pretty good for us. So I'm going to go ahead and end the video here, and we'll see you all next round.